Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good morning. I'm going to give hopefully a few minutes for people to see the live stream. Hey, Renaissance Grandma, good to see you in the bushes. Oh, hold on, how do I take this thing off the screen? Hold on. Let me take off. Oh, there it is. Okay. All these new features, even on the free one. Good morning, good morning. Today we're going to talk about we not doing that. Play on words because we having problem with gnats already with seed starting for 2026, which is a chronic problem. I think everybody who does seed starting in their home has problem at some point with gnats. And we're just going to discuss what you guys are doing to mitigate that, remind us of techniques, natural techniques that we use that we may have forgotten, or we may have when you change growing mediums, this is when problems either start again or disappear. I have a big, huge block of Pro Mix something or other, and it already has some fertilizer, I believe, in it. From what it says, it's for herb and garden. It says so. It already has stuff in there, and once you get a mix and you see a lot of sticks, mix sticks, there's natural organic matter in that mix, and you're most likely going to have some kind of bugs. I always make sure to take boiling hot water and drench it with hot water directly from, a pot or a kettle to kill whatever. So I'm very surprised that I'm seeing gnats in a particular seed starting tray that I have, a newer device. It's not hydroponic, but it's a wicking system. You put the little containers on this thing. There's a reservoir of water and there's a felt or fabric that wicks it and then it takes from underneath. So I just planted that after the other two seed trays. Good morning, G Mama. And I know I'm bigger than but I saw a gnat and it's like sometimes you're thinking, am I seeing something moving? Because they're so, they're hiding in the soil. Maybe it's just my eye. You're getting older. Maybe my eye is just playing tricks or whatever. Or I'm seeing a seed, the seed that I planted, which is onions, shallots, leeks, those kind of black seeds. Oh no, it was a gnat. Praying I don't see any. Yeah, I boiled water. But what I'm finding though is sometimes I try to sift out as many of the sticks as possible, but it's not always feasible. I would have to have a sift. I think this year I'm going to make a sifter so that when I'm in the garage taking out the soil, I'll sift it first, bring it in. I'm probably going to have to wear a mask because now it's dry soil and it's going to be kind of in the air. Sift it first and then bring it in and wet it with the hot water. Because of how I'm set up and I'm in a cold climate, I have to do some things outside and then bring it in and then do the hot water. I can't do it. It's too cold outside to do it all outside. And you don't want that block of soil in your house. So let me know what's going on with you guys as well. And I can drop the link and then we can talk about it. I, I was looking at that right now. G Mama, hold on. I'll put it up and then let me find the link to share. Because I was just looking up neem cake. I know you always recommend neem cake. So what I found. Good morning, Sam. Give me a second. Paste that. Okay. So first and foremost, my opinion, and you guys are also, avid gardeners in the chat, so we can all share. But first and foremost, hot water. You have to wet the amendment anyways. So hot water, even if you're using a sterile starting mix like peat moss or any kind of packaged seed starting mix, which is supposed to be sterile, hot water. If you're doing hydroponics and those using those sponges, hot water. If you are just use hot water because you don't know what could have gotten on these things during packaging, during the manufacturing, during transport. You don't know. So, and handling in the warehouse, who knows? Make sure you use hot water to sterilize for eggs or even just bacteria and germs. Just because seedlings are so delicate, you don't want to be having a problem wondering why everything's dampening off and dying, and you're thinking, what you did wrong, and really it's just the medium that's has bacteria in it. So G Mama's always spoken about neem seed meal, or neem cake, it's also called. I was looking at it and I was trying to determine, is there a difference between neem cake, neem seed powder, or neem bark? And based on the internet search, it says neem cake or neem meal is the most potent because it's made from the scraps from the oil making process, and that has the most concentrating of this element that you need to kill the fungus gnats. Fungus gnats have to be treated in stages. You heat the water, you heat soil to kill any eggs or larvae that may have been dormant. Once they become adults, what you do for the soil is not what you do for the adults. It's two different treatments. That's where you get the yellow stickers and these the those lights that zap them. That's when you bring that into effect, because it's too late to do that treatment. But then again, you have to still keep treating the soil because those adults can lay 300 eggs. So one or two gnats is not a big deal until they start laying 300 plus eggs and reinfest the soil again. So you have to constantly be treating your soil, period. But you don't want to over treat it either, because as I read, too much of neem also is not good for your seedlings. So you need to have the proper ratio. So look on the internet for that, the proper ratios for your mix. Then mix in the neem cake directly in. But there's other things that we can do. She's sprinkling everything. Um, yeah, so neem cake is the most potent. It may be readily available. I don't have it now. I can still order some and try the other trays with it, which I think I might, because when you start to calculate how much money you're spending on gnat treatment with these yellow stickers, which is great to have, but you have to no have to. I suggest you put some of that budget into the pre-treatment, putting it directly in the soil. And of course, there's neem oil, but it can get kind of messy. So I think for seed starting 2026, if you're new to gardening and you are starting your seeds in your house and you don't have a separate room or a solarium or sunroom to do things in, and it's actually affecting your house, like, you have gnats just flying around and they seem like they're breeding with the fruit flies too. It's just like a whole hot mess. You have to be like, don't skimp out because you're going to pay for it in the long run. So, hot water, always try to buy a seed starting mix. Sometimes they're more expensive, but if you don't want to do that, it doesn't matter. The treatments are still going to have to be the same. Hydrate your medium with hot boiling water, but you're killing all the nutrients. Who cares? You're going to put them back in anyways. And neem cake does add nutrients back. You're going to be probably adding a liquid feed maybe to your water when you're watering your plants once they get their true leaves. And maybe you're going to maybe want to put worm castings. There's other things that you can use that are more sterile for fertilizing and amending your soil besides just the medium itself. So hot water, kill every gnat, every larva, every egg, any bacteria that's in that mix, sanitize it completely. It's going to be better for you in the long run, because when you're planting from seed, some people don't want to plant a lot of extra plants. You want to plant what you need, maybe one or two extra, but you don't want to be having to replant because something's going wrong. So taking the time to do that is excellent. And yes, the two best things that I've been seeing, so the neem cake meal, you can do that. You don't have to. But the easiest thing, because it's also good for house plants as well, is mosquito bits. And depending on where you live, I can only find those, like, the discs for them that you put in the 55-gallon drums. I can't find the little bits over here for some reason. Sometimes they're on Amazon, but they're like extremely expensive. I think in the US you guys can find them a lot easier. So get the bits. I'm going to try a different product that's equivalent to the mosquito bits, and just like cut a piece off the puck and put it in a 5-gallon water jug and then start to use that to water the plants. I used to, then I kind of came off. That is the best way. That is going to kill the gnats in the soil, kill the eggs and the larvae on contact. I think I may have finally gotten rid of the gnats, but my seedlings definitely suffered damage from so many applications. I think it's unalive the moringa as well as yes, sometimes it affects your seedlings if they're it's not even just the treatments. Sometimes the gnats themselves have chewed up the roots and destroyed the roots underneath, and you're not going to notice until you take out the plant and look at the roots and then replant it again. It could be the gnats itself that chewed up the plant. The plant tried to fight and it couldn't fight any longer because the infestation is so extreme. Like you'll move the soil and go underneath and see like millions. Like everything's moving. There's no soil. It's just all gnats. It's quite disgusting. I had to throw some plants out of the house and just fling them outside. Like couldn't take it. They won. Just start over again. It's not worth it. I'm soaking neem seed and mosquito bits. Okay, so you can soak both. Okay, that's good to know. But if you can only find mosquito bits, that's all you need. You can water it. It contains BTI, I think is what it's called, and it's a natural bacteria, and they use it to put in the rain barrels. And they put it in the rain barrel so that you don't get mosquitoes breeding in your backyard or your property. If you have a pond or a creek or flooding in your property, sometimes people put it in those areas to keep the mosquitoes from breeding because that can become a bigger problem if you have livestock and other things. So these are natural. It's a natural bacteria found in nature, and they've just encapsulated it into these pellets, and it helps to kill the fungus gnats. And you don't want standing water on your property, even for bird baths. People put them in bird baths. It's safe so that you don't get that mosquitoes from the standing water. It's very important. So people have realized, oh, if I brew it down in some warm water and dissolve it and make a tea and dilute it a bit, you can, water your plants with them. So you're watering your plants anyways, but you're also doing a treatment. And the treatment also doesn't damage the plant. I think in some ways it helps the plant and the seedling. So that may be the first choice, as well as mixing a little bit of neem cake in your soil when you're starting your seeds. And I know they say always water from the bottom, but it's not always feasible because I have a couple of seedlings in my trays. They haven't germinated yet, but the top is very dry. Your seed needs to be a little bit moist to break and open and germinate. Yes, I have a heating mat. Yes, I have a dome on top, but sometimes you need a bit of moisture in the soil, a bit. And because you're still giving it that bit of spritz, the gnats monopolize on that because you're creating the perfect storm. And then they germinate, you take off the cover, but now you have gnats. So don't wait until you see the gnats. I saw the gnat and I'm like, was already kind of, so make sure you have your yellow stickers out, but that's not your first line of defense. That's to deal with the adults. That's the adult and the final stage. And all they're going to do is lay more eggs and start the cycle again. So you should be always treating the soil, your medium. I do use pellets and those peat pellets, but I don't always use them anymore as often. I have some left, but I'm not really going to repurchase as many. They do come in handy to start certain seedlings and then you up pot them. But I'm starting to plant seedlings in about 2.5-inch cups because I don't want to up pot them. I want it to grow in there. I timed it exactly where it's going to be able to go outside by a certain date. And no, I must confess, I don't harden off my plants. If they can't make it outside, we ain't going in and out, in and out. Maybe I'll put them outside in a section and cover them up to give them some shade, but I ain't bringing them back in the house. Once you outside, you outside. I'm not bringing them back in the house and then cause more problems back in the house with bugs I've already eliminated or exposing my plants inside to some other stuff like spider mites and whatever else. I'm not doing that. So and I know hydrogen peroxide kills them on contacts. Diluted hydrogen peroxide, 3% hydrogen peroxide with some water. So I think it's 4-to-1 ratio. I've heard somebody say they did 5-to-1 ratio. Depending on your infestation, you might say I'm doing 4-to-1. I'm doing 3-to-1 ratio. But 3% is easy to find in any of the stores, dollar stores, and any pharmacist you can get that. Buy it probably in a more of a bulk size because you are going to use it. I use peroxide for pretty much, a lot of stuff. Wound care, plant care, hydroponics. I use it for that. I use it to soak with water the sponges to sanitize the sponges for hydroponics. I use them for stain removal for laundry. Um, I use it to sanitize other things. I can't remember now. Other things that use clean with peroxide. Um, you wipe certain surfaces down with that. It comes in quite handy. So you'll be surprised how often you use it. So just buy sometimes the bulk bottle, more wholesale. Make sure it's in a dark colored bottle, not the clear translucent ones, like the brown ones that are not see-through, because light will degrade the hydrogen peroxide. So make sure that you buy the ones in the dark bottles, because sometimes they sell them in the like, yeah, don't do that. Buy them in the darker bottles. It lasts you longer. So Psalms, Jim was saying to Psalms, yes, plants need at least 2 to 3 days to recover from treatments. Yes. But I think mosquito bits don't really, yeah. And plus, when you water it, they'll take it from the bottom. So either way, if you're watering with mosquito bits, it's easier for you, because sometimes watering from the bottom is not always feasible, because you can see that one is not getting enough water. So you kind of give it from the top, and then you're risking gnats all over again. And it also helps with mosquitoes. So if you have rain barrels outside, you should be putting some mosquito bits in the drum, in however you're holding water, to prevent bugs from going in there. You don't want to have mosquitoes or gnats all over the place. So, be mindful of when you have standing water. Um, Someone wasn't willing to give these critters any opportunities to repopulate, so I kept coming back. And I know exactly, once you spraying them again, and go like turn off. What I'm gonna do this year is I'm gonna buy one of those bug zappers for the house. There's multiple kinds now that I've been looking at, so I'll talk about that briefly. But let me see here. Using a mister can help prevent overwatering since they're on top. Yes, so I have all these water bottles, and some of them are not labeled, so I don't even remember what's in them, but I'm gonna, you know, rinse them out and put some water with hydrogen peroxide, and I'm gonna mist today all the seedlings with peroxide. That's, I think, an easy, simple, safe method to use, and I'm going to mix some mosquito bits tea, and I'm going to have that water ready so that I can water the plants, the tray from the bottom. I'm right now waiting for things to germinate, and we'll discuss that after. But water from the bottom if you can. But you're going to be using peroxide a lot. I really believe you're going to be using peroxide a lot as a gardener, and if you're starting your seeds from indoors, and if you're using hydroponics, that's a liquid that you're going to be using anyway. So just make sure you have it. But the mister spray bottle, and the medium that you're using as well, something that's going to dry out fairly quickly, that's not going to hold on to water too long. And of course, we talked last time, and I'm going to keep reminding you, don't skimp on the fans. You do need to have a fan to ventilate and circulate air, and that helps your seedlings to become stronger and give them more resistance. It's just like weightlifting for plants. Some people run their hand over the plants and, brush them gently. Yeah, I do that sometimes if I have time, or you help pollinate things, but let the fan do the work for you. Let the fan, give an even spreading of air and give the plants resistance so that when they do go outside, they're ready to go. And yeah, Renaissance isn't hard enough either. Yeah, I don't have time for that. I don't have the time for that at all. I think once you're outside, you're outside. I feel you. Yeah, I think most of us know our zone, our climate, and we know what plants can be planted out earlier. Irregardless of where you live, I can assure you that when it comes to plants that can handle a colder climate, cooler weather, spring weather, your brassicas. Your brassicas can handle it. Your spinaches love it. Your lettuce loves it. Your Swiss chard, perpetual spinach, which is Swiss chard. Your herbs, like your arugulas and your sorrel, not Jamaican sorrel, the leafy green sorrel, and all your herbs can handle that cooler temperatures. Not winter, it's not quite something, but that in between, they can handle it. You can direct sow outside and they'll pop up. Sometimes you need to do that. Drop seeds outside early and then see when they germinate. See what the temperature is and take a note of that. You could put a sticky note or your notebook or your journal, a note of that, because that's when the seed wakes up on its own. Then you're going to know, okay, I can direct sow at this point going forward and it's going to wake up by itself. Or if I have the seedling started before this particular date in my home, I can plant it out around or shortly after that time because the plant can handle that temperature. You have to take those notes yourself because you can take advice from, USDA or the gardening agricultural department, but you have individual microclimates that may fluctuate. So knowing it for your own self in your particular property would make more sense. It can give you a range, but if you want to be more specific, you can note. Like I know for me, like Easter is about April-ish. That's nowhere near our planting outdoor season because our last frost date is in May, like mid-May. But I know for a fact lettuce, spinach, Swiss chard, they can handle it. Bringing out certain plants, they can handle it. Direct sowing at that point, they can handle it. Let nature do some of the work for you. But for those of us who have a short growing season, we need to make sure we monopolize. Love my bug zappers. When I had the gnats, I would just walk through the house and wave that. I have that right here. I have one here that I don't know if it hits anything half the time. I'm waving it. Sometimes I see a gnat around me when I'm working, and but I'm gonna get the one that you can hang around the seed starting area. I have like about 5 or 6 shelves, and maybe I'll hang one in the. I'll not even hang. There's a couple of types of bug zappers. You guys can see them on, your local hardware store. They have the ones that you can hang up around the house. They have solar powered ones for outdoors. They have solar power ones with a floodlight for outdoors. I saw one on clearance. I might go pick that up today, to be honest, because sometimes you're outside and it's just like the mosquitoes are just too much. Even though you've cut your lawn, you keep the shrubs down to a certain size. If your neighbor is not keeping their yard tidy, which you guys have heard me complain about, it affects your backyard and the mosquitoes are just unbearable. So I might invest in that. And I saw somebody that I know. Speaking of which, I didn't edit that video. Good Lord. They have quite a few zappers in their property because I was wondering why is it like they have all these trees and the fruit trees. They have several in certain areas hidden behind trees and behind shrubbery, and they're just zapping the bugs, solar powered. Some of them are powered with extension cords and stuff, outdoor extension cords, but they have that around their property. So people can come over and you can have a lovely outdoor gathering. They can walk around the property, but they're not being eaten alive by mosquitoes. So sometimes you're wondering what people are doing. They're not using chemicals. Because I know they have those foggers that you can spray outside. That's the first thing that pops up. The outdoor, hey, Miss V, the outdoor bug zappers are worth it. If you like to have outdoor gatherings and you are seeing that you're getting eaten alive, you can't even do gardening. I'm outside, I'm getting eaten alive. I have to wear long sleeve and mesh. It's probably time to invest in some outdoor zappers. And in the wintertime, just pick them up and put them in your shed or your garage for the winter season and then just put them back out. And it also helps with flies. The outdoor bug zappers do help with flies. I have always had an issue with flies. So it's not my animals that are bringing the flies. There's just seems to be, I don't know what's going on in the ravine back at the back, but there's been flies always. That will help with flies as well as my farming remedies for the flies around the livestock. And I do spray with natural essential oils. It does help. But when you have livestock and the manure, you have to do 3 and 4 different things and in rapid succession to keep the fly population down. So they have these things that you hang with a very smelly liquid, like almost apple cider vinegary fermented liquid powder that you mix and you put it in there and it attracts the flies. I'm still concerned though that sometimes those remedies attract more flies and not just drown the flies that are in your area. I think it even attracts more flies. And sometimes you see little dots around your property, little black dots. Those are eggs. I can tell in the coop there's some stuff. So I spray those down with disinfectant in the spring. I spray everything down with a heavy sanitizing spray because as soon as spring starts, those things are hatching. So just be mindful of that. Good morning, Miss Shirley. So get a bug zapper in your house. Also, the new bug zappers that they have are the ones that you plug into the outlet, like in the kitchen. It has like a light with a sticky back paper on it. I don't know what they're called. There's different brands, name brand and no name brands. And then you just take out that sticky thing, throw it out, and you put in a new one, and it plugs into the wall. And that will catch, flies, gnats, probably mosquitoes, because sometimes they sneak into your house when you're coming in and out. Those kind of things, they're not that expensive if you buy the off brand. Good morning, David Corey. Um, and just get rid of them, because if you're gonna get gnats and they breed so quickly, it's gonna make new gardeners a bit, turned off of gardening. Those of us, we don't care. We know that growing food is so important. We'll tolerate it. But some people who are new, they're gonna be turned off. Let me just catch up with the chat. I think my neighbor needs to get one of those outdoor solar power ones. Maybe I'll get them one. We've been eaten alive many times during the kids. Yeah, well, put it on your property, Sam. Put it on the edge. Put it on your property, not their property, because when they come to your yard, they're gonna get zapped, and then you can maintain the device and keep it clean. I grabbed a pop fly trap for these. Yeah, the flies fly. I don't know where they're coming from, And again, my neighbor doesn't keep their yard clean. The one next to him does, and then so you just need one bad neighbor who's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that's it. Purple martins, if you have land, would be best. Okay, I'll take a note of that. And did I miss anything? Okay, so everyone's saying hi to each other. But if we can learn how to deal with these gnats, it'll make it better. So right now it's still off season for gardening. Well, for my zone. Some of you all probably not as off season, but I think you can get some sales. If you're looking for solar powered gnat fly zappers for outdoors, now's a good time to buy them. The ones for indoors, also a good time to buy them. Good morning, Bayou. To buy them. Don't wait until it's the problem hits you. That's exactly when the prices are gone to their peak price, and you had to wait till next season. So to help with our budget, because we're going to be frugal. Because remember, Gina talks about budgeting, and we learned how to budget. Buy them off season. Go and pick them up, and have them ready to install once the weather is ideal for putting them outdoors. So I'm going to be getting that. I think they had one left in stock. When I checked yesterday, I'm going to go after the live to that store and pick up that outdoor one and just put it in the garage to have it ready. I think one should be enough for now, and I'll put it around the lower level where the coop, the roost, the run is, and then I use the other methods to keep the flies down. And I'm going to get one for indoors because it's been 4 days or 5 days, and the gnat, I already saw some gnats. So I'm not going to wait for them to get a chance to start, hatching it out. Make sure that you right away, mosquito bits, get them from your Ace, Tractor Supply, whatever else you get things from, and make your mosquito bit tea. That has been tried and true across the board. It will not hurt your seedlings. It will not hurt your house plants. And this is the problem that is happening for many of us. We have house plants, and then we're doing seedlings, and that could now infest the house plants. So you don't want that either. So you have to have an approach to hit all angles. Your house plants can be watered by that. The seedlings, you're going to get the zapper, and then the yellow sticky traps. They work, don't get me wrong, but they're so hard to, once you take off the one side to get the other side, and then sometimes you move it by accident and it sticks onto the wrong thing, and it's just like, yeah, it's a whole thing. Yes. So I think no matter how many methods you use, you're going to need to get the zapper. And I haven't had one. I've been like, get a zapper. Yeah, get the traps early, get them on sale. They're having all the specials now. I'm been getting some grow lights. I bought a grow light yesterday to replace this thing I got from this auction site. And the new light is LED. The one that came with it is probably not LEDs. I think it's halogen fluorescent. And it has a short in it. Sometimes the whole bulb is shining, sometimes half the bulb is shining, which is where the gnats are showing. And it could be because the light's not on all the time because it's flickering. It's damp. Who knows? They don't need a reason. They just want to lay eggs. So just buy whatever you need on sale. Seed starting needs to be made easier. And I know many of us have been doing it and we're doing it. I'm moving towards making a few things automated in my life. When it comes to the animals, some things are going to be automated. It's going to cost a bit of money to invest in those things, but it's going to make my life easier, because when you have to step away and go for 2 days or a week and you're asking people to fill in and cover you, they're not going to want to do all the things that you do. That's become blatantly clear. They're not going to want to do this, that, and the third. They want to do the bare minimum. They'll collect the eggs, they'll do this and that. They want the water to be filled to 5 gallons so that they can just fill it up once if they have to. So right now, I know that 5 gallon can last a week with nine girls. That makes their life easier, so that they don't have to keep fumbling around with water. It's filled up and they can fill it up once if I'm gone longer than a week. I'm going to be getting the automatic door opening and closing on a schedule, put some cameras in there so I can see them if anything, see what's going on, and make it as easy as possible. Because the way how it's happened now, it's great. I've learned everything I need to learn. I'm pretty good at taking care of the animals, but it's really reliant on me being physically here every day. And that's not what you want to be doing. Even though you're a quote unquote homesteader, you don't want to be stuck to your property. You want to be able to leave for 1 or 2 days and things are okay. Some things are automated and some things somebody has to physically do, but it's very minimal. Sometimes there's no one I can really rely on. I can, but those people are in my family. And if we're all traveling together, then that's not going to help me either. So this year, there's going to be some investments spent. You don't need these investments by any means, but if you want to have more freedom to come and go as you please, that's why I'm getting some of these, a fancy feeder that's going to be on an automated schedule that will lock at a certain time so that I don't want no rats and no vermin. So that needs to be top priority. Leaving food out at night is not an option for me, because I told you, see rats broad daylight coming to help themselves. I already have squirrels all over the place taking over. I don't need to add more. The rabbits getting brazen and coming every time in my yard in the snow, leaving trails, yellow and brown. He ate down my blueberry bushes, chewed down sticks, just chewed it down like it was a celery stick. Chewed down all my kale, which is fine. Kale's meant to be eaten, but my blueberry bushes, I don't even know if they're gonna make it. I have to probably buy new ones in the spring, so I'm gonna have to see how that goes. I have too much problems with animals, so I don't want to add any more to the mix. So I'm going to be spending some money on automate, even my seedlings, which is what I was talking about. That's going to be more automated. I'm not going to be up putting the lights on and off each shelf. I got to put on the lights every morning and turn them off at night. I'm getting a timer power bar, and all of those things are going to be automated so that if somebody has to come and check on the plants, water them, the lights go on at a certain time, the fans go on their own and off. All they got to do is water and just make sure that, basic stuff is okay. I'm not going to be tied down to that either. So just a suggestion, but I'll share what I bought in some shorts or some reels, you can see, but make your life more automated, because if you have an emergency, God forbid, who's going to just, you could lose your whole plants because you can't be there for 2 days. You're taking care of family affairs and all your seedlings are going to, because the light wasn't turned on for 2 days and no water. So it's just going to make your life easier. Oh, you like the rabbit? I can't stand this rabbit. Scooey rabbit. But yeah. So if you have some resources now and you're looking at things on sale, I would buy things that are on timers. Hydroponics are already on their own timer, so those ones can just go in the new power bar on the side that's not on a schedule, and it'll keep their own schedule. Surge protection is very important, because with all the things that I have plugged in, I can only imagine you guys have 50 zillion things plugged into another power bar to another power bar, 5 and 6 hydroponics at a time, plus the lights and the fans and the this and the that. Make sure they have surge protection. And the next thing will be backup for me, but not yet. I do have a solar power bank, but I do need a backup because the power's gone off in this last 2 weeks about twice, 5 minutes here and there. But that had to reset my whole thing. I had to reset all of the lights and all of the stuff. Hold on 1 second. Someone's calling me back. 1 second. Okay, thank you for waiting. So yeah, make your life easier. But oh no, the rabbits. I don't miss the rabbits. He's been very destructive. Very destructive. The only good thing is that he's leaving some crumbs around so I can use it for fertilizer in the spring. And that's basically it. So the gnats, do not let the gnats take over your indoor seed starting on your indoor garden while you're doing the seeds, because it'll infest your house plants, it'll infest other things that you have going on. The one thing I also do is on the top of my house plants, I do put the clay pebbles on there, or you can use perlite, or you can use good old sand. I use the coarse grit construction sand because I also mix that in with the girls' dust bath. So I'll put a bit of sand on top of the soil to keep gnats from laying eggs. So those are other things that you can do. The lake of pebbles are not that affordable. Sometimes but I had them anyways. You can put them on top, but you can put sand. There is a use for diatomaceous earth, but unless you have it already, I don't necessarily think you should go right out and buy it. I have it because I have animals. It's something I use regularly, but don't run and buy it just for that. I would suggest using sand, gravel, perlite on top of your plants to keep that dry, and the bugs won't be attracted to laying their eggs on there. And still use the mosquito bits. If you don't have an infestation, you can probably water every other time. But if you're currently actively dropping seeds, I would water every time with mosquito bits. It's not going to hurt your seedlings. It's going to make your life easier, and you're going to feel better about starting your seeds indoors. Because one year I was going to throw the whole thing out, throw it all outside. Outside. They infest faster than you can keep up with. And if you don't have the tools already in place, you're going to make yourself upset and frustrated. And we don't want people to get frustrated with gardening. We all don't have huge homes with extra rooms that are out, connected to the outdoors to do all this stuff. We're in our living room, we're in our spare bedrooms, we're, whatever. So we need to use the right things to make it easier for us and not take over our home into some kind of bug fest or fly fest. So the bug zapper for 2026, if you don't have one, get one. If you have one, get it cleaned up, ready to go for the season again. And buy the ones that you plug in the wall in the kitchen in case the bugs fly over that way, and it'll zap the gnats, mosquitoes, and house flies and fruit flies at that too. Because sometimes you get fruit flies because you're buying fruit from these stores and there are already eggs on them you didn't know, and you know how that goes. So that's always going to be a risk for our homes, was the fruit flies. So invest in a couple of those, maybe one or two. It has a blue light that glows in the dark, and leave it at that. Don't open up the door for you to get frustrated. And right now there's things on sale, coupons, markdowns, prime specials, all the stuff is happening. In-person stores are having markdowns from stuff that was sitting there from last year. They want to get rid of it, or they're making a new version of that item and the old one's going to become, good morning, Miss JK, get rid of it. They want to get rid of it, so you go and buy it on sale and you get the warranty. There's some people like me who are buying from auction sites. You can select new items or slightly refurbished items. It's up to you, and start to get some equipment there. When you skimp out, I'm telling you, it's gonna make you make your life more difficult. So invest in those things now and be ready. Even if you don't have seed starting in your home, but you notice that there's flies and stuff, every so often it doesn't hurt to water with the mosquito bit tea. It doesn't hurt. It's not expensive, and it'll just keep you from getting bugs in your house, because sometimes they come in just by opening the door and the window, they slip into your house. So we not doing that. We not doing that. Not doing that. Anyone else have any comments or feedback? And then I guess we'll just wrap it up, make it a short one today so that we can get to, I'm wearing my gardening shirt, my shirt, and I'm going to get some things that I'm aiming to get a little bit done every day so that it's not overwhelming. I have a schedule when I start my seeds based on the type of seeds, and I try to keep to the schedule. But if I don't, I'm behind a day or two, it's okay, because you're doing it in paces. I've already started my hot peppers, the ones that I want to start, and my Lacia peppers, because those ones take a long time to germinate. So those ones are already there. And my eggplant. My eggplant that's in the hydroponics that's been there for about a week or two. I don't see nothing happening with the eggplant in the hydroponics. The bok choys are looking great. I have to do a video. It was for WIG, but since I haven't really been doing it, I'm gonna relabel those videos for seed starting 2026 in indoor gardens. We not doing that. Yeah, we not doing that. We not doing that. So I'll share that with you guys. But if you're starting your seeds, I believe for everybody, well, most of us in the colder zones, your onions should have already been started. If not, start them now. Onions, your leeks, and your scallions, your what do you call them? Bunching onions. Start them seeds ASAP if you want to get that done early. Some of them need a good amount of time. Your hot pepper should be started. Good morning, hands in the dirt. You need to start your peppers. If they're not started now, you still have time. I started mine extra early because on my schedule it told me March 10th to start my hot peppers. And depending on the season that you're in, sometimes they don't really get going early enough. So I started my stuff in February. Anything that needs heat, I did in February. So hopefully I will have a good report to tell you guys back. For those of us in the cold zones, start your peppers in probably February, zone 5B, 6A in February, to give it more time to really get established before you have to put them outside. Because when you put them outside, and for me, it's May, you want them to already be going, like boom, start pushing out leaves, pushing out flowers. Let's get this fruit going. Eggplant, same thing. I don't see them, nothing happening yet, but keep it going. For those of you who are in a warmer zone or in between and can direct sow outside, especially your cool stuff, just direct sow it. Why are you even fighting with starting seeds indoors? If I was in a different zone, I would not be doing as many seeds indoors. I would let nature do the work for me. So just because other people are starting all these seeds, and it's true, it's great, it's nice, direct sow or get a pot and just broadcast each type of seed in each pot and let them come up on their own and then transplant them to where you want them. Let nature do some of the work for you. Yes, it's tedious to pop them out and to replant them, but to be doing all this seed starting, it's okay if you're really a high producer of food, and you have to just be honest with yourself. Am I a high producer of food, or is this more just like to feed my family, and I'm not a commercial grower? It's, you know, you have to just determine where you fit, because if you're a high producer, then yes, you're going to be soil blocking. You're going to be doing all these things because you want to make sure you have your numbers before you plant them out, because you're about production. I'm not about that level of production, so I don't need to do all that. Drop them in a pot, label the pot with whatever it's growing, and let them all pop up, and then I'll transplant them. Because 9 times out of 10, that is going to give me better results than starting and handling each seed and planting each 2 seeds in each container and then labeling it. You know how much work that takes? I'm doing it now because I want to keep track of what I have, especially when I'm growing for other people. And we're going to be planting in 3 spots: my garden, the parents' garden, and the other one that I'm planting in as well. And I'm giving some plants away, so they have to be in individual pots. So those are already accounted for, but don't give yourself more work. Let nature, let the sun do the work for you. I think it's going to be easier in the long run. But let me know any other ideas about these gnats. I could drop the link and we can talk for a bit. If anyone wants to come up for a few moments, and then we'll wrap it up so we can all get back to dropping some more seeds and getting our day going. I know Saturday's a busy day. People do their people who are not retired gets their groceries. They try to go to Costco. I'm going to go pick up that light and that zapper and take it from there. But what have you guys started in your gardens? Those of you who are starting your seeds or started your seeds already, what time? What are you planting, and what timeline are you in? Are you already having things outside, or you're like me in a cold zone, everything's inside? Are you automated or are you manually laundry? Yeah. I'm gonna do a load of laundry. That's one thing about working from home. I can sneak in a load during the day. At my lunch break or before I start my shift, I put on some laundry, and then when you go for your coffee break, you quickly put them in the dryer. Good morning, Tasharia, or Tish. I always say your name wrong. Tasharia. It's not that I'm saying it wrong, but I know someone named Tashara, so it's in my. I think you're Tasharia. So excuse me if I say it wrong. Um, I could do laundry during the day, which is helpful, but I still have one more load to do. So I want to take care of that because I like starting the week with clean. Everything is clean and clean towels and clean everything. Um, and I'm going to work today on cleaning the coffee maker. I'm going to run the cycle with that pellet, and I'm going to clean my distiller. It needs to be ran through a cleaning cycle, and that's pretty much it. And then, yeah, pick up the Costco. Yeah, I usually do Costco Saturday, or I prefer Friday evenings to be honest, to get it over with, and everything is ready to go for the week. I cooked some things in the fridge, some broccoli that was kind of going off, so I steamed it to mince it up and feed it to the chickens. So I'm gonna feed them that shortly. It's cooled down now, and get that out my fridge because have you guys smelled old broccoli? Whew, Jesus. If you want to smell something stink, go leave some broccoli in the fridge and let it get old. I just have my flowers. I haven't done my flowers at G Mama. I haven't done my flowers yet. So I'm gonna be doing I planted some basil, which kind of counts as my flowers, but my nasturtiums, my marigolds for sure, because I like me some marigolds in the garden. And the smell helps keep the pests down and just adds another layer. And I have to do my calendula. I don't know why people say calendula. It's calendula. There's a D. Anyways, and then I'm gonna do a lot of zinnias because I know those butterflies love them some zinnias, and I always only have a few. So I'm gonna be making sure. Oh my god, broccoli! I have broccolinis in the fridge, and man, like what's that smell? I looked at the fridge. What's that stink? I had a broccolini in the fridge in the bag. I meant to cook it and didn't get around to cooking it, and then I'm like, we don't waste food here no more. So I cooked it, but I'm gonna chop it up and put some other scraps in the bowl, and the girls will eat that up in 2 seconds. So it's gonna give them nutrients, and I'll get it back in the eggs. But yeah, broccoli. If you want to smell stink, if there's anything ever stink in your house and you don't know where it's coming from, I can guarantee you it's either a potato, an onion, or broccoli in the fridge. It's either onion outside the fridge where you may have rolled somewhere by accident and it's like the stink, or a potato. If you smelled a rotten potato, oh my God. Oh my God. We were trying to figure out what's that smell? What's that smell? And we're all irritated because we're like, we cleaned the house, we mopped, we did this, and we just moved everything. And one potato must have rolled out of spot. And that potato stink up the place like dirty diapers. I'm not sure where we're moving to. We'll have any outdoor garden space. So for now, I'm just sticking. Oh, yeah, that works. Hydro works. Yeah. Whatever works for you. Because as long as you're keeping productive and you're growing multiple plants and you're eating from what you're growing, that doesn't matter, man. I think dwarf plants are very good for people who are scaling back or they have a smaller space. Exactly. I hope you get a place with a yard, though. I'll pray for that because that's something that you're going to really enjoy. But, or at least more space internally so that you can have really a good shells with stuff growing. Because when you're used to growing your own food, it's kind of hard to not do it. It just, it sucks the air out of your day to day life. Like right now, if I didn't have, food that I'm growing, it just, ugh. I wish I had done the indoor garden earlier though, but I needed a break because gardening is so, like after the season is done, like I'm tired. And then I have to start shoveling in winter and that prep. I'm tired. So I didn't start my indoor garden really until what, January? But those bok choys are always a quick win, so it makes you feel like, yeah. So next season I'm definitely gonna just bok choy. Lettuce and bok choy indoors. I don't need to do all the other fancy stuff. Just keep it simple. Any plants that I overwinter, like I have a tomato in here from last season. It's only started flowering now, but it's there. So hopefully I'll start to see some better growth. And I got some dwarf tomatoes from people. I'm going to plant them directly inside and leave them inside, so that way they're already here for next winter, and just have things inside. Like eggplant's going to stay in the house. Sweet pepper is going to stay in the house, because bringing them back in after they're outside, we're not doing that. It's I don't want no bugs. It's just too risky. So I want to keep some plants in the house, see how they produce in the house, and see if that's going to add value to my winter like food supply. Oh, I love Asian greens. I'm going to be growing. Let me get this envelope here. For sure. For sure. Tatsoi, I think Renaissance grandma. Between she recommended the tatsoi. I think everybody bought that. I like it. And then the choy sum, the longer Asian greens. And then I have a Mishahili cabbage, which didn't do well, but I do like growing that. Tatsoi says it's a mustard, but whatever. To me, it's a bok choy. And then I have another one. I didn't just get it, but I have it here from MI. It's called Tokyo Bacana Mustard. Hold on, I'm trying to get it on the camera. Yeah, that's what it looks like. And it's trying to get the name on there, but you can't see it. Forget that. But that's it. What it looks like. It's a nice leafy green. It's a mustard, but it doesn't look as delicate as the mustard leaves. And of course, I want to grow the red mustards. I love growing red mustards, and I see Cece has them in her garden heavily. Nothing better than a red mustard. And then choy sum. And there's another one, different kinds of bok choy. This year, I'm going to grow the Egyptian spinach. It's my first year growing it. I don't even know if it tastes good or nothing, but the Egyptian spinach. That looks kind of like, I don't know what those leaves look like, but they don't look spinach-like. They look kind of like mint leaves, almost large mint leaves. Let me see if this one will show better now. Yeah, there it is. Now you can see it better. The Tokyo mustard. And of course, there's another one I have. I can't remember what it's called, but all those Asian greens, let me tell you, all you have to do is saute them with a bit of like teriyaki sauce, or if you use soy sauce, or if you use coconut aminos, which one you use, a little bit of that, and some like garlic, minced garlic. Oh my God, and a bit of salt. That's all you need. It makes to taste good with any meal. I think you're gonna like choy sum. I like the texture of it. The stalk is, when they're young and tender, the stalk is very edible. I like to eat as much of the plant as possible. So for me, I'm leaning towards those more than the actual broccoli heads. I think I eat the broccoli leaves, I eat kohlrabi leaves, I eat all the leaves, but that plant just looks better. It presents more as a fancier green on the plate, like you're serving broccolini or broccoli, the choice. There's another one. I can't remember the name though. Choice and whatever. Next week we'll talk about those different greens. We'll talk about them next week, as long as I'm able, because sometimes the weeks Saturdays are so busy that I can't always go live, and then every day seems to be tied up with other people's lives. So I may have to go live when other people are live, because it's hard to always be on Saturday. But we'll talk about the Asian greens. They're so easy to grow. I think they're underrated, because people think, oh, because it's just like whatever. Just grow them. You can constantly be succession planting and eating your own greens. I haven't been doing that, the succession planting indoors. I just grow and stop, grow and stop. Right now, I've been growing those mini bok choys from a sample pack I got from Baker Creek, and they're pretty much ready to go. I can cut them all down and put 3 new sponges in there and start 3 more new ones. And that's what I'm probably going to do. Like, you can literally be constantly growing new bok choys in your home. And it's very tasty, very crispy. For the first time this season, my hydroponic plants are green. I talked last time about the lighting. I have the Arrow Grow Sprout that only does white light, so I don't have any chance to change the setting. the plants are green. That machine tells you every 14 days it's time to fertilize. So I've been fertilizing on a consistent schedule, and the plant is green. The coloration is fantastic for the first time. Whenever it tells me to fertilize that one, I fertilize the other one that doesn't tell me when it needs fertilizing. And those ones are looking good, but just that the eggplant is not growing. And that one I use the bluey light for the first 14 days. And now it's on the white light with, the leafy green mix lighting setting. That's making a difference. When you get your hydroponics, you don't have to stick to all the rules strictly, but if you notice that you're not getting certain results with your plants, it's probably best to change the lighting settings. And that's why it's important to group the right plants together. If you're growing flowering plants like tomatoes and eggplants, and then you're growing lettuce, they have two different requirements for lighting. Most times it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. But in a small unit, and then they each have different fertilizing needs, and some are heavy feeders, some are not. You could find yourself not getting the best result and you're wondering why. Go back to your lighting, the right setting for the right plant, and go back to what plants am I grouping together in the same unit. If I want to do flowering plants, put them in a different unit than a lot of leafy greens so that they can each get what they need before you start to move them out into maybe potting them. Because for those of us who keep the leafy greens in there for the full life cycle, you're gonna find that sometimes, why is my greens not green like the store? Why are they vibrantly green? Why are they kind of like yellowing? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? I'm feeding it, I'm fertilizing it, I change the water, like you're doing all those things correctly. It's probably the lighting, because that affects how they absorb and create the chlorophyll. That's what I was reading up, because again, we have to remember, don't skip the fundamentals, because if you skip the fundamentals, you're going to be wondering why you're not getting results like the experts down the street. Let me see here. Mixing red and green plants also confuses insects for less pest pressure. I do find that, yeah, because I do purple bok choy, purple mustards, and I mix them with, yeah. Last year I did that inadvertently, and it did make a difference. We have everything green, green, green. I see trees of green, and they come and take over your garden. So do mix up, and then you mix up in there some flowers as well. There's intercropping is a basic concept, but many of us, myself, don't monopolize on it to its full potential. We're so busy trying to juggle what we are juggling that we're missing some of the fundamentals. I do have flowers, but not enough. If I intercropped some more flowers along with the herbs and the plants, there'll be more diversity and I think less pest pressure. Because, yeah, you're confusing them. And I don't want to buy flowers. I want to grow them from seed because they can be very costly. But yeah, they're tender. I like to eat the whole thing. I don't like, even if the stalk isn't tender, like broccoli stems, I'll cut them up and I'll steam them. People like throw them out. I'm like, if I pay for something organic or buy it from a farmer, every piece I'm eating, I'll peel off the hard skin out of the stalk. That outer skin, you can peel it off. Like how, if you guys, my Caribbean folks know about callaloo, we peel off the hard skin outside the callaloo and then we mince the stems with the leaves and we eat all of it. Yes, when you cook it, it's a different texture because the leaves are very soft and then the stems are just soft but still have a firm texture. But that's okay. We're used to that. Um that song's gonna, yeah, I'm telling you. But yeah, I love the stems. I love all the greens, all the parts of it. Fruiting plants require red light while blue light encourages, exactly. And sometimes we have it on, oh, whatever setting, who cares? It matters. It matters the right setting, and that's why we're not getting, because we don't realize we have these booklets, we don't read the fine print, we're just skipping through instructions, we're not taking it all in. I'm speaking for myself, and then now we have to go back and make sure we know the fundamentals. The setting is distinct. There's the leafy green setting, there's the flowering fruit setting, and then there's a herb. On mine, there's a herb setting, there's a like sprouting setting. You have to put the light at the right setting based on its growth. Or if you have an overall leafy green, you just leave it on leafy green. That means the eggplants that are in there, if they ever germinate, they're not staying in there because they have a different need. I put them with a different light, but it's just to get them germinate to see, will eggplants germinate in hydroponics? Right now, the answer is no. And if I wait any longer, those are going to rotten in the sponges. So I might just take out the seeds and plant more bok choy in there. And then the flowers from seed are, yeah, I think so too. So this week, I'm probably gonna, well, this weekend, I'm gonna start my sweet peppers. Probably I'll do a few, not that many, maybe 5 or 6. I don't think my family wants sweet peppers. They say they haven't had a good results with them in a while, so they're kind of like done with them. So if we do buy some peppers from the seedling place, fine, but they're not interested in growing them from seed. So I'm probably gonna do a few for myself, and then I'll do the flowers. Some of the flowers, not all of them. I'm probably gonna do the marigolds, and I'll do the zinnias. The herb flowers like the calendula and the nasturtiums, I'll do them in another week and a half. And then I also want to do bee balm, but that needs to be cold stratified, I believe. Bee balm and what's the other one that the monarchs like? Oh, I just saw it yesterday too. I was looking through my seeds. Not bee, is it bee balm? No, maybe it's bee balm because it has another name, and then bergamot. Yeah, it's probably is the bee balm. It needs to be cold stratified. So from what I'm seeing, people are putting them on a paper towel method and putting that in the milk. That's it. Thank you, Tom. Milkweed. Is that the same as bee balm? Oh, someone in the bush is too good. Thanks. Yes. Thank you. I'm telling you, perimenopause. It's like, huh? It's like, what? You're just like, what was? And you know, you can see it. You can see the words, but you just can't find it in your mind. Milkweed. So I'm going to try. I should have probably already started the milkweed, to be honest. Okay, so bee balm is bergamot. Yes, and I love bergamot. So I'm going to try those two. And if they have to be cold stratified, I'm going to use the paper towel method and put the paper towel in a Ziploc bag in the fridge, because someone said put the seedling pot in the fridge, put it in a bag in the fridge. I ain't putting no. We just talked about gnats for over an hour. Do you think I want to put some natty soil in my good fridge? That makes absolutely no sense. So the only other option is to put it in a Ziploc bag and maybe put it outside the door because it's cold enough here that it's fine. Put it outside my door in a Ziploc bag, and hopefully the squirrels don't knock it over or chew it up. But I'm going to be starting those now. Any info on the yellowish light? My Zemhu unit can switch between yellow and blue. I'll look at on the whiter one. I don't know. Was that what you're answering? Answering to you, Mama. I don't know if you answered the yellow. Not all seeds like hydroponics. It's best to remove them. Yeah. So I'm probably gonna remove those seeds. Yeah, probably today. And if they're not rotten, I'll put them in a paper towel. The eggplants in a paper towel and see if those germinate finally. If not, those will be garbage. But I'm gonna put some. I'm gonna put the mini bok choys in those same sponges. So, G Mama, should I soak that sponge again with hydrogen peroxide or just put the new seeds in there? Or should I just spritz peroxide in the hole, then put the bok choy in there? That should be enough, right? If the seeds weren't moldy. I'm doing the shortcut because like whatever's going to be easier for me. Bee balm is broke. Yes, those plants. If you don't have bee balm, guys, it's a beautiful flowering plant. It's an herb. It makes tea. It smells divine. I said it before. And if you like that orange pico, Earl Grey kind of tea smell, you're gonna love bee balm. And the flowers are beautiful, depending if it's pink or purple. Hey, that's my art. Good morning. Okay, let's see what G Mama, because I want the lazy version, G Mama, the lazy. Hit those eggplant seeds with some hydrogen peroxide. Yes, soak the whole sponge. Oh, soak the whole sponge again. Okay, before I replant. Chups. All right, I'll do that. I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay dearly. So I'm going to, yeah, I'll start some new seeds, and the other 4 bok choy that are doing fairly well, I'm going to probably harvest 2 of them young and youngerish and tenderish, to cook those so that they don't overcrowd the unit. So, okay, so I'm going to re-soak those sponges. I'm going to spray those seeds put them in a paper towel and see if those eggplants germinate. Because yeah, if they don't germinate, then they're bad seed. Yeah, I don't think I don't buy a lot of eggplant seeds, to be honest, and it could be the seeds are old. Good morning, Jegs. The seeds could be old, but yeah, yeah. All right, guys, it's been a slice. I'm gonna do those seeds right now before I go to that store and buy that thing I said I'm gonna buy. And yeah, just remember the fundamentals. Oh, before I go, let me look up the yellow for Psalm on my phone. This is just gonna be straight internet, but it might still be helpful. Um why is there yellow lighting for starting seedlings? What is the benefit? Okay, so it says yellow light is used for starting seedlings primarily when it's part of a full spectrum LED light, often appearing as a warm white to the human eye. While plants primarily absorb blue and red light, yellow light is in these setups serves to provide a balanced, natural looking environment while still delivering the necessary red wavelengths for photosynthesis, rooting, and early development. Here are the specific benefits of using yellow spectrum, often warm white lights for seedlings. Okay. Now that I come, yeah, girl, sir, I've been up since earlier because you know why you're a night owl. That's why I know you're up with Tampa last night, and then we were up with Bayou, and then I went to no, I was up at first. I was with Gina, then I went to Bayou, then I was in Tampa at the same time because I was seeing Mike in all the chats, and then and Cece in all the chats too, and then we went somewhere else, and then we went somewhere else. I was in 3 chats last night, and they were all good. If you didn't watch Gina's chat, get the replay because they had you know, Broke Farmer and Precious, who are, master gardeners, giving some advice, which is helpful. So that's how you learn, guys, in these sessions. Okay, so back to yellow lighting. It promotes root and stem development. I'm gonna read just the subheading, not the other parts. It helps them from becoming too leggy. It's high photosynthetic efficiency. Whoa, that's a mouthful. It helps them deliver high photon synthetic photon flux density, PPFD, and whatever. Anyways, more natural environment, so it's easier to work with with the human eye as well. Unlike purple pink LED grow lights, which can be hard to see pests or nutrient deficiencies. That is true, and it puts a strain on the human eye. Yellow lights and warm white provide a natural color rendering, so you'll see things more easily, especially those damn aphids. One second. And it also benefits specific to certain plants. So you'll see better leaf and shoot growth, and you'll have better bioactive compounds, which helps with the flavonoids, which I think enhances the flavor of the leafy greens. Again, this is just internet searching. The important nuance, yellow versus full spectrum, it tells you the monochromatic yellow light versus full spectrum and the kelvins and how bright it is and blah, blah, blah. But it seems to be better because it is true, the blue light and the red light, you can't see the difference on the leaf. It looks like it's fine. And then we change the lighting, like, oh, the leaf is not even very green. It looks like it's struggling. You can't, you can't see the warning signs that the plant's in trouble when you have too much of that light. And it's almost like you're in a club setting, like that nightclub setting all the time. So I do prefer when the lights are not on that blue purplish glow, like when you're zapping bugs. That's the bug zapper color. So yellow light is okay, and as long as you have the right light intensity, which is at the kelvins. Some lights don't tell you the kelvins; it tells you something else. Like I would say, I don't know if it's wattage or another unit. Just make sure you know that it's bright enough, because the one light that I do have, I got some new lights for my grow shelf. Again, I'll do a quick video and show you guys. Um, you need more intensity. And I know I have egg cartons that raise up the shelf, the seed shelf, raise the tray to the light on the shelf, but I shouldn't have to be doing all this extra work. The lighting should be intense enough that it should reach where it needs to reach and the plant's going to thrive. I wasn't getting those results. So you have to make sure, again, fundamentals, buy good lighting. Doesn't mean expensive lighting. It just means good lighting, right intensity, right color. It's not heating up because you don't want the light heating up the shelf too much. You want it to be cool because you want to control the temperature, especially when you're already using a heating mat. So just be mindful. You can use shop lights, but I can't find shop lights that are to the exact length that I need. And then it's just too cumbersome for what I'm doing. But you can use shop lights. I'm using those strip lightings. It works well, but I'm going to be redoing the shelves. And the original lighting, I have 2 per shelf. It's only 2 shelves. I'm probably going to make it 3 per shelf. I think I have a few extra. And then the new lighting will be on 2 shelves. And then that big light that I got is too intense for that shelf. That will be used later on when I get a grow tent, or I'll get a rack to put it on top of my deep water culture units. But I'm redoing that and make my life easier. All of my lights are purple except one. They were affordable. Yeah, whatever's affordable. But just be mindful that the coloration gives you different results for different type of plants. And I grow a lot of leafy greens, and that was a problem for me. They weren't looking green and nice like the store. So I knew there was a problem because my plants should be looking better than the store-bought plants. When the store-bought plants have been picked weeks in advance and sitting there, why are my plants that are fresh in water and nutrients, why aren't they vibrant green? And part of it I noticed was the lighting. And I changed it. I use the purple and blue when they're young and coming up. Once they get to a certain maybe second set of true leaves, I change the light setting, and I've seen much better results this season. This is the first time I'm doing that, mind you, but it's much better. And they are horrible. Oh, aphids. Oh yeah, don't, and spider mites and check the bark of your plants because I've seen scale and mealybugs. What? I don't think I know what those are, but I don't think I've seen them before over here. Scale? I see powdery mildew. Mealybugs. Oh Lord. Yeah. And again, new lights doesn't mean expensive. It just means the right setting, the right intensity for what you're growing. And leafy greens are different than your flowering plants. Tomatoes, eggplant, um, peppers, hot peppers, sweet peppers, mini peppers. Everything pretty much is a pepper or either a cucumber or squat. Like those things is a bit different. Beans are a bit different. And this is just what I found. And I think, take it with a grain of salt. Maybe your situation is different. Maybe you know more about certain things, but we can all share the knowledge and learn together. But just consider those slight changes to your lighting, especially if you're in a colder zone and rely a lot on indoor growing. If you don't rely on indoor growing like we do, completely understandable. You guys can grow outside most of the time. Most of you have said you got snow, and I thought it was a light dusting. That wasn't snow. We get the snow. G Mama, myself, Gina, I think Miss Shirley, you grow row. We're in the cold. Who else is in the cold? People in New York, I think even Miss G Quat is in a cold climate. We get snow. I don't know I think even Renaissance gets snow. Some of y'all got snow was a little dusting, not even a little frost. All right, guys. Take care. Have a blessed week. You'll see me in these streets. Don't forget to like the video. It helps with the algorithm. Subscribe if you're not subbed already. It helps as well. Oh, yes. How could I forget Chicago? The Windy City. You know about snow. And keep in touch with the channel as we post other videos. And if you don't have me on Instagram, also follow me on Instagram. All right. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others, guys. And support the community. I'll see you. I don't know who's live tonight or tomorrow. I used to have announcements. I can't remember. But you'll see me. I think tomorrow is Broke Farmer, if you're a member. And Monday is the chat, I believe. I'm not sure if they still rotate. I've been out of the loop a bit. Wednesday's Wind Down Wednesday. Thursday's Miss Shirley OG. Tuesday and Thursdays is Vision Preparedness. And Fridays usually Bayou, Gina, sometimes Big Rooster. It depends. And every night, Monday to Friday, Tampa Creek is going live as well. So check them out. All right, take care. God bless.